I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something, and I will not let what I cannot do interfere with what I can do. Edward Everett Hale. Hi, my name is Abby Fisk, and I'm 15 years old. Today, my mom and I are going to tell you my story about being a burn survivor and how one voice can make a difference in many lives. Early Monday morning, September 1st, 2008, my brother and I went outside to play and came across the remains of an agricultural fire. It was a mountain of gray ashes still smoldering from the day before, and for some reason we decided we'd throw sticks into it and watch them incinerate. Not long after arriving, I tripped over a leftover log and fell into the embers. My feet were buried deep in the ash by the time I caught myself with my hands. I was in shock and completely froze, not knowing what to do or what was even happening. But when my brother saw, he yelled for me to run, and I took off through the orchard. By the time I reached the house pad, I was screaming on the top of my lungs, trying to figure out how to turn on the water faucet. My dad came out seconds later, which seemed like an eternity, and jumped into action. He picked me up and threw me into the pool. I ended up being admitted into Shriners Children's Hospital in Sacramento, California. There it was determined I had second-degree burns on my hands and wrists and third-degree on my feet, ankles, and shins. I stayed at Shriners for the entire month of September and received my first surgery ever. It was a skin graft surgery that took the epidermis off the length of my back and put it onto my feet, ankles, and shins. While at Shriners, I struggled with depression, anxiety, and even fasted. I lost about 30 pounds that month and almost didn't get discharged because of it. I went back to school the next January, and I felt ostracized and isolated. I could always hear the rude remarks as people walked by, and I could always feel the stares. As I began to realize not all the stares were of judgment, most were of curiosity, I started to accept my differences and feel more comfortable in my own skin. When I was 10 years old, I moved schools and I realized a lot of new stares from people unfamiliar with my story. That year, I got the courage to stand in front of my entire class and tell them my story. This was really hard for me and took a lot of guts, as it was the first time I had ever opened up about my scars. I discovered that once kids realized, or at least thought, I was comfortable with my burns, they were willing to ask more questions and stared less. As people took the risk to ask more questions and offer their support, I started to feel more comfortable in my burns. Hearing the voices of these people has inspired me to love my scars and share my stories with others in hope of being the voice that can help them open up and love themselves. I'd like to end with this quote by Bob Riley. One person can make a difference. In fact, it's not only possible for one person to make a difference, it's essential that one person makes a difference. And believe it or not, that person is you.